Hello, this is Ultramut, and I decided I wanted to do a reply to this video just because I think it's important for us ex-Christians to just get our stories out there so we can feel some support for those who might be, leaving Christianity and such like that. I grew up in a pretty conservative Christian home, and I was probably saved when I was around maybe 10 or 11 or so. I remember this was right when we were switching chaplains, and this group came in, and they pretty much went up to every child and asked if they were saved. And children being naive, thought automatically they would go to heaven, and they made sure to correct us and say, if you didn't say this prayer, then you definitely were damned to hell. So when I was approached and someone came up to me, I kind of actually felt forced, so I said the Lord's Prayer because they were an adult and I was a child, and I really didn't question much what they said. And they said, since I didn't say this prayer, that I was damned to hell, was not saved. So I said the prayer and I was saved. Like I said, I really didn't feel like it was much of a choice. I kind of actually felt more forced into it, and I definitely didn't feel any different. I didn't feel any different after saying it. It didn't really mean much at all, really. Pretty much all through high school I struggled with my faith with Christianity and with Jesus, and I repeatedly over and over again, even though by this time I was long since baptized, I just over and over again would ask for Jesus to be in my heart, to forgive me, to save me. And after these prayers I might felt good, felt like the presence of God in my life maybe for a day, and it quickly faded. So it was just this repetitive thing. I remember when I was a junior in high school, there was this kid, and he committed suicide in my school, and this actually brought up a lot of questions with me, because I just thought that was horrible, like the idea of that kid burning in hell, and for committing suicide. It's like he already went through hell on earth. Obviously, if he didn't want to be here any longer, he thought a better alternative to life was death. So I couldn't imagine him having such a horrible time in life and then only being rewarded with hell for all eternity to suffer. That really actually brought up a lot of questions to me. I just didn't see how that was just. And during that time, I probably neared towards like agnosticism. Kind of felt atheistic in a way. It was just a big struggle at that time. My first year away at college, I decided to try to strengthen my faith and my religion, and as a last-ditch effort, I decided to read the New Testament of the Bible to get to know Jesus better, as this was what many Christians suggested, to understand Jesus, to feel closer to Jesus, and truly to know Jesus. So I started reading the Gospels, and I got past 3 of them, and I think I started reading a bit of John, and it just didn't seem to answer much questions. It didn't make me feel closer to Jesus. It didn't do anything for me. Around this time, I picked up the studying of neo-paganism. This is the first time I allowed myself to truly, really get into it, really study it, really consider it for my, life path. I've been interested in neo-paganism probably since 9th grade, when I first learned about it from some friends who were practicing it as a fad, as that's kind of popular in high school, especially back then. So I've always had an interest in it, but I've always felt that I couldn't get too much into it because I was a Christian, and I would be denying my God, be denying my family. It's like, how could I do that to them? Originally, when I first started practicing paganism, I tried to include Jesus into my path, which is allowed in neo-paganism. In neo-paganism, you're allowed to put whatever God you want in your personal pantheon, and for a while I tried to put Jesus in there. And about a year into my paganism, I realized that I just never had much of a connection to Jesus. He was never my personal savior. He just did not mean that much to me. And this all led me to where I am now. I've been practicing paganism for about 3 or 4 years now. I'm not really quite sure. And I consider myself more of a pantheistic pagan. I don't believe in the gods as literal personalities. I don't believe that they are spirits with their own wills. I believe that they are creations of mankind to describe and to understand different forces that we cannot really understand. I mean, all the gods are representations of literally forces of nature, things that give us life, or things that are just important to us.